StreamYard left me. Oh, I lost it. No. Okay. Hi, you guys are watching the Mac and Cheese podcast. I'm your host, Mary, and Cassie will be the co-host from now on. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I just brought it up. Her Twitter account will be in the bio, so if you guys want to follow her there, please do. We need followers and subscribers. Preston Smith getting traded.
And I was surprised, and I was especially surprised that he requested it. But, I mean, knowing the reason, I understand, and I wish him the best. I have no hard feelings about him. I respect his time in Green Bay, and he did a lot of good for us. His performance did drop off this season, which now we understand why.
Right.
So, yeah, I hope he does well in Pittsburgh.
I agree. I feel like it's the 4-3 versus 3-4.
It absolutely is.
Because we've seen Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah, Rashawn, I think, has been struggling in the 4-3 as well.
Exactly.
So I think they're gonna have to figure something out with him because I don't think they made too big of an investment in him to just, get rid of him now.
Which makes me think I don't see them going back to a 4-3-4 though, because Rashawn actually played in 4-3 at college in Michigan. Yep. That was like their defensive scheme. And the same thing with Lucas Van Ness. A lot of them have not played in the 4-3. All of them said that they have never played in the 4-3. This is their first season. So maybe give them a season kind of to get it.
I think a lot of people are, they're disappointed with the defense at time. But I think they're forgetting that this is the first year under this new program. So you got to give Jeff and the crew some time to kind of meld together and learn this new defense. And I mean, I've liked what I've seen overall so far. There's been, a few games where it's questionable, but overall, I think they've been doing well.
Yeah, I totally agree. The defense has been great. Well, not great. It could be better, but
improvements from Joe Barry, that's for sure.
Well, for sure. And Mike Pettin, there's a huge difference between Joe Barry and Jeff Hafley, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just think Jeff Hafley was fit for this position.
Yeah, I liked that he was a younger guy with, the younger, up-and-coming mindset of football and not just the old guy with the same old tricks.
I mean, we have an old guy on the roster, or the staff, Robert Saleh. I didn't type that up in the script.
He's not
Robert
that old.
Saleh as a consultant.
And he's at practice right now.
Is he? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I haven't seen that
with the G on his chest, so.
I didn't see that picture yet. Oh.
I saw it right before we joined here, so it's breaking news, basically.
Oh, well, we already talked about it on a different show. But
yeah.
Robert Saleh is officially a consultant of the Packers for offense. Yeah. And I think it's a great move, personally.
I think so.
Because Robert Saleh knows Matt LaFleur and Hafley. They coached with him in the previous years.
Yeah. And I think he's a great defensive mind, so if he can help us kind of pick apart other teams' defenses, then
right, which is what he's here for. Apparently, it's going to be a great move.
I mean, and look how much of the Jets' defense has been struggling since they fired him. So
right. So speaking of that, do you think that was Hafley or Saleh's idea, or was that Rodgers? I feel like it was more of Rodgers, in my opinion, for that move.
I mean, it definitely wasn't Saleh's idea. I don't think anybody would choose to get fired in the middle of the beginning of the season.
I think it's more of Rodgers personally because we know what he's like in Green Bay versus Jets.
Well, for sure, I think that he had influence in it, if not, the deciding voice. But definitely, they asked him his opinion on that.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. The thing is, I thought Rodgers loved Saleh, so what happened there is my questioning. Because I feel like that's the reason why Rodgers went to the Jets. Because when the Jets were at Packers, like, training camp a while ago, Rodgers and Saleh were talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, there was, or it was their GM or something. It was GM or Robert Saleh, I couldn't remember who. But Rodgers and someone on the Jets staff were talking.
Interesting.
But also, you have to remember, the Jets got Aaron Rodgers' favorite offensive coordinator, Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett is a Jets.
Yep.
Did that have anything to do with it? Maybe, because we know Rodgers loved Hackett.
I think the main thing of why the Jets got Aaron Rodgers is because they promised to do everything that they wanted them to do. So I think that's the situation that he wanted, where he had more say and wasn't going to have a situation like the Packers. He wanted to go somewhere that he could just completely manipulate to do what he wanted to do.
Right. You know what move I'm surprised that they didn't do, and I'm happy that they didn't do?
The Jets or the Packers?
Jets.
What move?
Tom Clements is not Jets quarterback coach.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that. I'm shocked by that, actually. Because we know Tom Clements is the one that helped Aaron Rodgers.
Well, initially we thought that the Packers got Tom Clements to like help keep Rodgers, but clearly it was to help Jordan Love. So,
Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Is it time to mention his name?
It's always time to mention his name.
Okay, good point. Malik Willis is our second string quarterback.
I think he's the best second string quarterback we've had in a long, long time.
I would argue with that. I like Tim Boyle, though.
Tim Boyle was fine, but he wasn't Malik Willis.
True. And now look at Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle is like a third string quarterback.
Right. I mean, he hasn't had any success anywhere, so.
Right. I mean, we mentioned this on the Viking show. I don't know if you heard it. But we were discussing why different quarterbacks go to different teams. And it's interesting. Sam Darnold just needed a different place to learn. He was on the Jets. He was on I think, somewhere else.
Panthers, I think.
Panthers. It did not work. And now look at him. He's on the Vikings doing well. Or doing okay. Look at Malik Willis. He was a Titan. He's a Packer. It's just a different scenery, in my opinion.
Yep. All you need is the right support.
Right. Tom Clements.
If Justin Fields was drafted to the Steelers or a different team instead of the Bears, who knows where he's
doing. Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, Justin Fields. Look how he's doing.
Yep.
Well, I mean, now he's benched, but
yeah.
Where I think. But another yelling. It's kind of funny. It's Bears week.
It's a big week.
It's a rivalry week.
Gotta love the rivalry.
I don't know if it's a rivalry anymore, though, is the thing. Because it's been off and on for a couple of years.
It's a very one-sided rivalry.
What are they? They're yelling at something now. So for those of you guys do not know, we're having our trimmers or something. I don't know. They're trimming something outside. So that's what I'm talking about. It's kind of funny. What are your thoughts about the game coming up? The Bears and Packers game?
I mean, I'm excited for it. It's always a great game, even if, the last, what was it? Are we 10-0, 12-0? I don't know what we are.
For.
Yeah, it's crazy. I anticipate another good game. Ideally, it would be another blowout like we had back in the Rodgers era, but I anticipate a more evenly balanced fight this time, but depends which Packer team decides to show up. We've seen 2, maybe even 3 drastically different teams show up on any given week, so hopefully the one that has their stuff together shows up this week.
Well, we've also noticed in the past that the Packers usually come out hot after bye week, too. Like, after the game of the bye week, we're just coming off our bye week. We're getting healthier. All the players practiced besides Kobe Wooden today.
That's huge.
Jordan Love against the Lions did not look good.
No.
In my opinion, I don't think Jordan Love should have started. That's just my opinion. I would have started Malik Willis personally, knowing that the bye is coming up.
I anticipate big things from Jordan now after the bye week is done,
Right.
and it seems like he's at least
Looks like
mostly
he's doing
healthy,
good.
if not 100%, or getting towards
He
100%.
he's not on the injury list, so it's
Yeah, I
good.
think we'll see a drop off of his turnovers, and I think we'll see him return back to late season of last year. I think a
Oh,
lot of his turnovers this year have been due to his lack of mobility, so he feels kind of
I
in
was
a stuck
also
situation or even
yeah,
fearful of getting re-injured, so he kind of forces
right.
things when he doesn't need to. So
I was gonna say injury. He's been injured all the first half of the season.
yeah,
It started with the Eagles game. I don't think that knee is officially healed though, like all the way. Ultimately,
it's hard to say.
like right, and then he got
I don't know if
hurt.
they're allowed to keep him off the injury list if there is.
I mean, we saw that with
Yeah,
Kingsley and Igbari though too, with the
yeah,
Cowboys game last year,
yeah.
because Kingsley and Igbari apparently tore his ACL according to Matt LaFleur, but then Kingsley and Igbari said he didn't, or it
Yeah.
was the opposite or something. And then like this training camp, Kingsley and Igbari or Jinjay and Igbari did not show up with a brace, so it's like, did he? Did he not? Kind of deal.
Probably the first initial test they thought he did, and then further testing after the season, I guess.
But I feel like it's pretty easy to tell if you tore an ACL though, because you usually can't walk on it.
Usually, yeah.
But it's weird because I was talking to this about with Peter, one of our Bears friends, or one of my Bears friends, and um, Kingsley and Igbari didn't play like against the 49ers on our team. So I was also questioning what was that about then? He's not
Well, you can be injured without it being
okay,
an
fine.
ACL.
Yeah, but the Packers usually like to hold out players from injuries, and that's also what shocks me why Jordan Love played against the Lions. Packers are usually known to keep out players longer than expected.
I'm assuming he fought pretty hard to come back,
It sounds like he did, yeah.
and then
I
they
personally
figured,
would have started Malik Willis personally for that game.
yeah. I mean, it's gonna be hard when you just gave him a $200 million contract, and
So,
he said he's ready to play and he can play. Then it's gonna be hard to tell him no.
yeah, if Josh Jacobs first receiving touchdown in the league ever.
That's crazy. Like,
Now,
I mean, I
eight.
guess you think about the quarterbacks he had. He hasn't had great
Yeah.
quarterbacks, but Derek Carr was serviceable enough that you think that he would have gotten
Mm-hmm.
a reception at some point.
Derek Carr, Minshew last year.
Garoppolo,
Garoppolo, not Minshew. Minshew's there this year.
yeah,
Yeah. I also have a feeling that's because it's Devontae Adams though too. Like,
could be.
I mean, wait, former Raider Devontae Adams now. He got traded to the Jets.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts about that? Did you see that happening?
I mean, I saw it happening for sure. Once it was established that Adams wanted a trade, it was pretty obvious that that was probably where he was going. But I think myself and probably pretty much everybody else had bigger expectations out of the Rodgers and Adams reunion. I feel like it's been pretty, I mean, basically nothing has come out of it, um,
Right.
sadly. So I was looking forward to seeing them play together again, but it just hasn't been what it was back then.
Yeah. I don't know if they need a season like off, kind of,
You wouldn't think so, but I don't know. I
because
just,
I don't know if they practiced off season. Is my point.
yeah,
So what if they need an off season to practice like those two? But they should practice that during their bye week if they already didn't have it. That's
right.
it's
It
like
just feels like there's bad vibes all around in New York, so
yeah.
I just don't think there's any saving this season, but
I think
you never
it's
know with
just
Rodgers.
New York or New Jersey or the Jets and the Giants. Personally, it's
Yeah.
those two teams. I mean, look at the Giants. They are doing horrible. Their kicker went on IR. Greg Joseph is on IR, which is ironic. Oh, Brady Narveson went to the Jets as a practice squad member. What?
Of course. The New York Packers,
Okay. Okay. I also called the Wisconsin Jets recently.
the Wisconsin Jets. Well,
That was
that would
my
be us,
fault.
though.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, you're right. Never
It's got to
mind.
be the New York Packers.
Okay, fine. Never mind. Brandon McManus. Do you like him? Hate him? I know your opinion, but
Yeah. So obviously some problematic background with him.
mhm.
We don't know the full details, so I don't think it's fair for us to comment any further on that until there's more that comes out about that. But I'm thankful that he is a legitimate kicker for us now, since we have been needing that since Crosby left.
I know, your favorite guy. I know.
Yeah, I love Mason Crosby. Mary knows that.
I do.
I'm a proud owner of a Mason Crosby jersey, of course.
I'm proud of our Russell Douglas jersey, but
There's nothing wrong with that.
What?
So there's nothing wrong with that.
True. I mean, we both have former Packers. I just realized that. That's funny. I mean, I could easily turn mine into a Xavier McKinney jersey. Speaking of Xavier McKinney, 29 Xavier McKinney. What? How? I know how, but how? How in the heck did Goody get him? Questions.
The good old Jets, or the good old Giants, I mean.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? No, but how? Gutekunst is a master at this.
Yeah.
Jacobs. McKinney. Love. I think this also has to say thank you, Russ Ball, for this.
Yes.
Without Russ Ball, we wouldn't have Love.
And I would just like to say, I'm not going to mention any names, but he knows who he is. Somebody that I'm friends with likes to complain about us not doing any trades. However, as much as you can say about Gutekunst not trading really ever, he makes up for it in his free agency in the offseason.
Wait, do I know this person?
You know him very well.
Oh! I got it. It took a while to figure it out. Yeah, I also saw that comment. That's a good point. One thing to know about Goody, for those that do not know if you're not a Packer fan or NFL fan, Gutekunst likes to, for free agency, he picks up players and then like a couple of them, and then he builds it off the draft. Which is why when we signed Josh Jacobs and AJ Dillon, we brought in Marshawn Lloyd. Same thing with Xavier McKinney. We brought Xavier McKinney in, Bullard, Williams, Oladapo. We built it up.
Bullard.
Same thing with quarterback, Bullard. Well, Bullard is technically a cornerback, but he plays both technically.
Yeah.
But same thing, Bullard. Look at our defense. We didn't bring any defense members in, but I think it's going to take the same movement. I mean, look at 2020 Packers. We brought in Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith. We brought in Devondre Campbell. Built up.
Yep.
Or that was later in the season. I don't remember. But it's still the same thing.
Right.
People just wake up about it. I don't know.
Draft and develop. That's our mantra.
Draft and develop, yeah. And I also think it's a good idea that Goody actually looks 2 years behind where the players are. We saw this with Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed did not have a good 2022 season when we drafted him. The year that we drafted him. Goody looked back 2 years before we drafted him. That's the same thing with Evan Williams. It's the same exact thing. Look, 2 years previous, or 1 year previous before we actually dropped them.
Because shout out to Evan Williams, though, because I think he's the biggest draft surprise this season.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody anticipated the impact that he would have.
I was going to say Edgerrin Cooper, too.
Yeah. But I think he was a little bit more predictable because he was a higher draft pick, but I don't think we really had any expectations for Evan Williams. And then he's come out, and then just when he's injured, it just shows how big he is to our defense.
You and I both mentioned this. Evan Williams, 33.
Yep.
You know why he's 33, right?
No.
His college number was 33.
Oh, really?
And that was interesting. When I saw that, I was like, he's going to take 33. Because at the time, we did not have Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
You're welcome,
33 is a big jersey to fill in Green Bay.
I mean, Micah Hyde, we're 33.
That's right.
Look how that went. And now Micah Hyde's with the Bills.
I don't think he is anymore. I think he's a free agent.
Oh, is he? That's the same thing with Jake Cameron. I just learned last night that he's a free agent.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Like, that's the same thing, I feel like.
Yep.
When is Jake Cameron going to go to the Jets? Just rebuild the former Packer players.
I'm
Mark
more
was
surprised about Micah Hyde being a free agent because I know he's older and I think he was injured last season. So
I think the neck injury didn't help with the Packers though. Like that neck injury did not help at all with that.
He was one of the ones that was, it was a mistake to get rid of him though.
I think another one is Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
I was going to say a different player, but I decided not to. I'm being good right now.
Well, now I'm wondering who you're going to say.
I was going to say Alex Green.
Oh.
Just to continue the joke.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say another one is Crystal Douglas for me.
For sure. Yeah.
I think it was too early to cut him. I understand why we did it, because apparently he's one of them that did not like Joe Barry. He actually spoke out against it, apparently. And I just learned about this. I did not know that. I thought it was Dre only, not Rasul. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was a huge mistake in my opinion, getting rid of Rasul. Like our cornerbacks have struggled immensely since we got rid of him. So,
but we filled it up. I feel like we filled it up with Valentine though, Valentine and Alexander. But again, with Alexander, people said on Instagram yesterday he's starting to look like Bakhtiari, always injured. I don't know what to fix it about that. We can't trade him. He said he won't be traded. But again, Gutekunst said Aaron Jones would be back. Look at that.
It's true. Yeah, it's hard because I mean you can't really get rid of Alexander because who's going to replace him?
So I'm kind of going out of order a little bit.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite Packers moment of this season? Not from NFC North. So, favorite win, not NFC North, because we lost both of them.
Yeah. All right. So I took some notes. I would say my favorite moment, or I should say my favorite win, and this is because the Packers love to stress us out. We all know that. That's why they're called the Heart Attack Pack. So I would say my favorite win was the Cardinals win, just because it was nice, easy, relaxing. We controlled the entire game. So it was nice just to have that moment of that game of not having to have high blood pressure, rapid heart rate.
Yeah.
But I also added when we beat the Texans, because number one, it was a team that was perceived as a good team. And number two, it was McManus's first game, and he kicked the game winner. So it was like we finally found out that we had a reliable
kicker. Yeah. I would say for me, mine's the Titans. The Titans won that 40.
That was another low stress one. It was fun.
Like
the defense was fun in that one.
It was, yeah, agreed. It was stressful, but it got better for me personally. Because at first I thought that Titans were going to get back, and I was like, oh, are they?
That one was special too because of Malik Willis. Nobody expected us to win those games, and then
no one. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Another one for me is the Jaguars game. It was stressful. However, that's Brandon McManus returning to his former team.
True. It was too stressful for me though, and it should have been stressful against that team.
But if you guys saw where I was for that game, it was all decked out with Packer fans. Like we to the point where we couldn't even hear the TV. Like when Xavier McKinney got that interception, we were like X, and it was so fun. It was like when the Packers scored a touchdown, right? It was like shouting like "Go Pack, go!" Like, and they did dun 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 dun, dun go Pack, go! Like every single touchdown, and they did that around the bar, and it was so much fun.
Wait, did they play Bang on the Drum?
No. So this is the bar that was supposed to be like at Lambeau, like I told you, but the people that do that apparently was at the game because it's Jacksonville. And for those that do not know, I do live in Florida, like 6 hours away from Jacksonville, so it's kind of far. Otherwise, I would have went to the game, but it is what it is. I would have loved to do it, but soon. Favorite draft pick and free agent from the Packers this season? I know we kind of discussed this a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously free agent is easy. Xavier McKinney. I would say 90% or more Packer fans would pick him as their favorite free agency. Obviously, Josh Jacobs, he's also been great. But I feel like the pain of losing Aaron Jones kind of makes that one sting a little bit more, whereas Xavier McKinney has been just all good. And the interception streak, that's been amazing. So by far, Xavier McKinney. Draft pick, I'd have to go with Edgerrin Cooper. I feel like we've seen the most potential from him, and hopefully we start seeing more playing time from him because for some reason they're not giving him the snaps that he deserves.
For me, I would agree it has to be Xavier McKinney.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the number 29 though because of Crystal too. So that's bias for me. But Xavier McKinney, like I think it was Dov Kleiman on Twitter or X, whatever you call it now. When he said that the Eagles got Xavier McKinney,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that and I was like, wait, what? And then I learned not to trust that account from that point on. Because I don't trust anyone unless it comes from the Packers, like like Matt Schneidman, Tom Silverstein, like people like that.
Right.
Like Ian Rappaport sometimes. Like Adams. Like Adam.
Yeah, I trust Ian probably the most of the national ones.
Okay.
But otherwise I try to keep it local.
Yeah, for me, I like try to keep it local, like you said, like Matt Schneidman. Like people like that. Like that's who I trust for that. And then I saw the Packers got him and I was like, congratulations, Xavier McKinney. And it's actually funny because if you guys went back to his Instagram or Twitter, I think after the Packers won it, he was like, should I wear number 15 or 0? Or 15 or 29. And the Packers fans had to tell them like 15 is like Bart Starr.
Yeah.
And I think it's ironic more than anything because we found out actually that Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs both played each other in college, which is funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also found out Xavier McKinney and Malik Willis actually played in high school together too, which is ironic. Like that they're both together now. That all three of them are together now. Who would have thought about that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I would say my favorite draft pick, Peter would say differently about this. I would say it is probably Evan Williams.
Yeah, he would be second place for me.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Like I love Jovan Bullard. Oh wait, our free agent saying kicker, Brandon McManus. But yeah, I wouldn't say
not above X.
I wouldn't say I would agree. I wouldn't say he's my favorite. However, he is good. I'm just
he's solid.
Favorite because if he didn't have the off the field issues, it would be differently for me personally.
Yeah, and I don't hold the miss that he has against him because that was not good kicking conditions that day.
Yeah, are you talking about the
Lions game?
Yeah. See, for me, I couldn't even watch that game because it was on local TV, and I found that out like halfway through it. And I turned it on local when Jordan Love threw the pick six. Is when I turned on the TV and I was like, oh dear Lord. That was painful. Watching it. And I muted the game because
that pick six was probably my least favorite moment of the season so far.
I would say mine is losing against the Vikings. We were almost there to beating them.
Yeah.
But I do have to say Aaron Jones did not score against us. And I was surprised by that personally.
I'm just glad he didn't get to do a Lambeau leap during the game.
I mean, he has, but
I mean, he can do it after the game. That's fine, but he didn't get to do it.
At Minnesota, he's done it. At Minnesota, he's done it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm like, it's not the same, Aaron. Like, I mean, and it's like we always split against the Vikings and the Lions. Yeah. We saw this last year.
Always.
They had our number at Lambeau. We had theirs at Minnesota. We had their number at Detroit. They had ours at Lambeau. So it's, I don't know. It's funny. And then we just beat the Bears. Like I said, Matt LaFleur is 10-0 against the Bears. And so was Preston Smith, ironically, too. And then we just cut Preston Smith.
Yeah.
Or we traded him. We didn't cut him.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs. What?
Of course.
Did you see that happening?
I knew the Chiefs would probably get some kind of wide receiver help, but didn't know who exactly it would end up being.
Zadarius Smith to the Lions.
I'm so sick of him. Like he lives his whole life on pettiness, I feel. Like that quote about he hopes he goes to the Lions so he can play the Packers twice a year and the Vikings twice a year. Like, yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
He did nothing. Well, he did some stuff for us, but not a lot.
Yeah. I mean, he was fine in his time with us, but
but
he'll start the season well and then he just completely disappears. So
yeah, like the back injury.
Yeah.
What? Captain issue? What?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, you said it, not me. But he's touring the NFC North. Next thing we
And
know,
the
he's going to
Bears
go to
next
the
year?
Bears. I was going to say, like, oh, yeah, it would have to be next year because he can't trade now. Yeah. Oh, wow. But then I really warn my Bears fans, like, don't worry about Zadarius Smith showing up because he probably won't.
Right.
We've seen him on the Browns. Look how bad he was.
Yeah.
And he's always injured. Zadarius Smith is always injured, too.
He's not like, I am not moved by him going to the Lions at all because he's just not a difference maker.
No.
Anymore.
Agreed. Cam Akers back to the Vikings.
Who cares?
Khalil Herbert got traded from the Bears, I think is who it was. So that was interesting. Like, why trade a running back? You know what I mean? It's like interesting. Favorite top 5 wide receivers of all time.
So before I start, I'll just say that I am very much so a person that is influenced by recency bias. So a lot of these are more recent wide receivers. And I'm also a Packers homer, so most of these are also Packers wide receivers.
Oh, okay.
So number 1, yeah, I don't care about other people's wide receivers. So let's just start out there. Number 1, I would say Devontae Adams, but only when he was on the Packers because he just hasn't been the same person since. Like that connection that Rodgers and Adams had in Green Bay, it was almost like a cheat code because it felt like Rodgers just had to get it in his vicinity.
So do you think part of that Rodgers and Adams trade thing is Bakhtiari? Like Bakhtiari not playing? Because we saw Bakhtiari, Adams, and Rodgers. They were on point.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Rodgers. I don't know what's going on with the Jets in general. I just think it's just all bad energy over there.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Number 2, Jordy Nelson. Pretty obvious why. Number 3, Donald Driver. Also pretty obvious why. Number 4, I put Don Hudson just because you got to respect the past to appreciate the current. So, and then number 5, I decided to do a wild card that nobody would expect.
Sure.
Fun fact: when I was a kid, I was a Tennessee Titans fan.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
For about 5 years of my life, probably.
Okay.
So number 5, I put Derek Mason, which you probably do not know who that is, and probably a lot of viewers do not know who that is. But he was the Titans wide receiver in the early 2000s. Okay. And he just brings back nostalgia for me since I was such a big Titans fan back then. So I had to give a shout out to him.
I don't think what really? Do you think Sterling Sharp belongs in the Hall of Fame?
Absolutely.
So you are one of the people, because there's a lot of people that doesn't think he's going to get it, unfortunately.
I mean, I don't think he probably will make it, but I think he should make it.
No, I agree. People said he probably won't make it because he's a lot older and a lot of people don't know about him.
Yeah.
I mean, Jaden Reed broke his career last year against the Vikings, which was crazy enough as it is. One thing to note, I'm gonna bring this back kind of to mac and cheese. You mentioned Don Hudson, 39. Wojciechowski came out in 39.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Which is ironic. And we learned during the Wojciechowski episode, Packers won the Super Bowl back then, which was crazy against the Giants out of everyone, I believe.
Right.
It's like, what? Okay, fine. I just had to bring that up when you mentioned that. It had to be brought up. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're kind of getting down to the bottom of the questions, kind of. And I know we both have stuff today, which is perfect. So, okay, this is going to be tough for you, and I understand this. Are you ready for this question?
Yep.
Actually, I didn't text you these. So, how have you seen yourself grow in terms of the podcast, of the Midnight Disnard podcast over the past 3 months? Because we've only been doing it for 3 months. What's before?
Yeah, this is really just my third podcast, really.
Yeah,
this episode right here.
Right.
So I don't know if I've seen any growth. I would say I'm probably more familiar with the process and probably a little bit more comfortable talking to. I mean, it's really just a conversation between me and you. So
Right.
essentially what it boils down to. So I
Yeah.
would say just getting more comfortable and familiar with the actual process of doing a podcast.
I will also say you are very good at writing scripts. If you guys haven't seen, well, you guys won't see Cassie's scripts, but they're phenomenal. It's wonderful how her and I work together. It's so like amazing, like because a lot of people don't know how well of a connection that you and I have. It's one of the best. I will say that.
Yeah.
We have our DMs. I agree because our DMs are literally talking back and forth sometimes and about Duolingo and a lot of other stuff.
About everything.
Yeah, about everything.
I feel like James is the only one that knows how close we are. And
No,
a lot
I
of
don't
it
think
drives
he
him
does
nuts.
though. See, the thing is, I don't know if he understands actually how close you and I are, is the thing. He thinks he does, but I don't know if he actually understands it.
The thing is that James likes to be a hater about me and you, so.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I love how we said we would give him a shout out, and we're currently on pace to do that every single episode.
Of course.
But I think it's funny because like the amount of DMs that you and I talk about, like during the games especially, it's like we talk about it and it's funny because I'm gonna bring this up. This is the only time that you guys will actually hear about this. Cassie and I have a denied list, and it's funny because Cassie and I literally DM each other or text each other, as James says. We literally DM each other and was like, "Do you think he belongs on this? Do you think?" Like we like go through it every week to see like, does he deserve it? Does he not deserve it? Right?
It's an ever-changing list.
It changes quite a bit.
The only ones that are like constantly on there are like the refs.
Rich Pisaccia, Matthew Gorzik.
Yep.
I think that's it.
I think
We
that's
had
it.
Preston Smith on there for a while, and he's
I think just like one game.
I don't know. I think it was more than that.
Okay, maybe
But
two games.
it changes. I mean, I added Dontavian Wicks, and you told me to delete him. It's everything. It's like that. It's keeps rolling on who's on it. It's so funny. Like watching the games with her and I. I'm excited to watch our first game together. That's gonna be so much fun.
That'll be fun. Hopefully it'll be at the game. That would be even more fun.
Hey, I'll do it.
Somebody needs to move back to Wisconsin
okay,
and then be a lot more doable.
So you might not be able to answer this question because you just started podcasting. So what is your favorite thing about podcasting?
I would say just talking to you.
Stop.
That's all it is us talking.
Yeah,
otherwise, literally, we only talk via text. So
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we talk through Duolingo too sometimes. Well, that's different.
I mean, it's still via text though.
Well, I mean,
this is the only time that we actually like voice.
Right.
Video.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all the questions? Do you have any questions for me?
No.
You're just like, can I say it now? Can I say that? Love it. Oh wait, my bad. No, two more.
Okay.
What are you hoping to get out of this podcast in the future? I added this one and I didn't tell you.
I think it'll just be fun to talk to other Packers fans and maybe some other teams fans, but I feel like I'm a petty person. So Peter, if you ever come on with me, then there's gonna be a little bit of drama going on.
I already got told by James we have to separate them at the draft, and I'm like, oh no.
I love to butt heads with other teams fans, especially Lions, Bears, and Vikings fans. So
but
it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun.
Right. You're good at it is the thing. Because if you guys haven't seen Cassie in chat is completely different Cassie than on podcasting. It's completely different in my opinion. And I think it's because I see everything that she says. You guys do too, obviously, but I feel like I see more of it because when we're podcasting, we text each other during the podcast, which is kind of funny. And it's like, they don't actually see what you say.
Right.
Because it's either you time out people, which I appreciate, and everything else. It's so funny.
Time out somebody a little bit more than others, but
I think you only timed out that person, haven't you? Yeah. Or actually, no, never mind. What other person? I forgot.
Yeah. But mostly just the one person.
Right. So if Tom Grossi watches this episode, what would your message be to him?
I think I would just say that he's doing a great job. Continue what he's doing. I feel like his fundraising that he does pretty much on a yearly basis now is great. And, he has a positive impact on a lot of people's lives. And since I have never talked to him face to face, I would tell him congrats on the Fan of the Year award. And hopefully we can have more Packer fans follow in his footsteps and become Fan of the Year down the line.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
I nominate Mary.
Oh, whatever. I was gonna nominate you. No, bad. I don't. Okay, here's the thing. Speaking of Fan of the Year, Justin told me it's out to nominate for someone again.
Really? Well, I think they just announced them.
They just announced them, yes.
Mm-hmm.
He already told me to vote for the Packers fan, so I did it once. I was nice. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
And I only did it because Tom was in it. Like, that's the only reason why I did it.
I mean, plus it's a Packers fan. Why not?
Right. And I think it's because I also met Tom in person. So it's a little bit different for me.
Can we just bring up the fact that this is a Packers podcast and you're wearing a Red Sox shirt?
Stop!
I feel like that needs to be addressed on the podcast.
Okay.
I already called her out on it before we started. So I think
that is a good point. So the reason why I'm wearing a Red Sox shirt is because I don't have any Brewers merch right now, Cassie. We need to work on that. And all my Packer stuff is dirty. And I'm about to go to the doctors after this anyways. So I didn't want to be like, because I know I'm a Packers fan, but all of it's dirty.
Yeah.
Like I have my Russell Douglas jersey, dirty. Clay Matthews jersey, dirty. She's at TV, dirty.
You better get them washed before the game.
I will. That'll probably be tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reminder. I'm actually surprised that you didn't offer Tom to come back on the podcast, actually.
I'm open to anybody coming on the podcast.
Speaking of that, final thoughts, friend.
Final thoughts. Should we bring up the big news?
Sure.
So Mary and I have decided that I will be joining the podcast full-time as a co-host. Mm-hmm. So you will see a lot more of me going forward.
You will. Do we want to say who else might be coming on future episodes?
I think you can announce it.
So one of the people have already, or they kind of bugged me into it, kind of, via off-the-screen live stream. Nick Folcata's music. You guys know him as Nick V on here. He's going to be hopping on an episode. And I didn't tell you about this one. We actually had Sounds Gouda reach out to us. That was Rob and Jordan, I think, from Sounds Gouda. They actually want to hop back on for their second time because they were complaining about how Nick has the most minutes in part 2 of all the clips. And they were like, who's Nick? Who's Nick? And I'm like, no. And you guys will see James. You guys already met James, and he's going to be hopping on soon, maybe? I don't know. One thing I mentioned, and I don't know if you know this, I actually mentioned a while ago, if you guys want to meet the mods, technically you guys have already met the mods. You guys met Cassie, obviously, now. You guys met Peter. You guys have met Emily. And you guys have met Nick. Is there any mods I'm forgetting? I think that's it. Well, okay. That is true. I am a mod on the Life of Mary podcast channel, which is my personal channel. So that's okay, fine. But I'm on every single episode, so they've met me, obviously. I think that's it.
I think so.
Because we're adding Nick as a mod in the future. Because he writes articles, so he can post his articles links.
Mm-hmm.
Because technically only mods can post links, which is kind of weird. Who would you want to see face the Packers in the Super Bowl, knowing that the Packers would make it?
For the AFC, I would say anybody but the Chiefs at this point. Like, I'm just so sick of seeing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But if I had to name somebody specific, and if it's only like a legit contender, I would say of the legit contenders, I would go with like the Ravens.
It doesn't have to be. It can be anyone. Because, so ironically, this came up in Tom Grassi's chat because we were asking questions from his chat at the time.
Yeah.
And they asked this question. And Tom said the Bills or Texans. I would
say the Bills too. Yeah.
That would make me hurt, but it's fun. Knowing that the Packers play the Bills in the Super Bowl, I think, is the most fun of it.
I like the idea of the smaller markets going head-to-head in the Super Bowl.
Also, can you imagine how much tailgating there would be at that game?
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
All the beer. Like, it's so crazy, like, thinking that. It would be In fact, it would be a happy moment for everyone, I feel like, for those two
Yeah.
teams. Even though the Bills made it 4 times and they lost all 4, which is
unfortunate for them.
Right, but if they can get it again with Josh Allen, I feel like it would be different, is the thing. Because
Possibly. Depends on which Josh Allen shows
right,
up.
Right. Um, oh, okay. What do you have? Oh my god. Where can people find you and what do you have coming up next? Out next.
So what I have coming out next will be excitingly Midnight Dis Nerds. We will be covering Wicked.
Yeah.
So that comes out next week. Actually, a week from when this is airing, I will be seeing it in theaters, and then Mary will be seeing it a week from tomorrow. So exciting
Oh,
times.
yeah. I was confused.
Yeah, so we'll be covering that later this month. I'm not sure the exact date, so stay tuned. The main place that you can find me is on Twitter/X at CheeseheadCast, but I also just created a Blue Sky account.
I was going to ask you that. Okay.
I don't have any followers yet, so please feel free
Okay.
to follow me
I'll
on
be your
there.
first one. I'll be your first one. I kind of just got it.
Okay, cool.
Yay!
It's the same. It's
Okay.
CheeseheadCast.
Okay, perfect. That's actually funny because mine's the same. My Blue Sky's the same as this.
Yeah, I feel like it's just easier doing it that way.
That's what Emily Mack told me because she's the one that kind of told me to do it because it's better for cross promotion.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about Blue Sky before.
I didn't until James randomly sent me a link, and I was
That's
like, "What is that?"
Yeah, because I saw Tom did it and I saw Emily did it. All of us are changing to Blue Sky. Like, I'll obviously keep my Twitter because I love Twitter, but I'll have Blue Sky too, which is fun.
Yeah.
So, like Cassie mentioned, I think we decided Wicked is December 1st or the first weekend of December.
Yeah.
Because we want you guys to enjoy Wicked. And like Cassie said, we are both seeing it on opening weekend. As long as Hurricane or Tropical Storm Sarah doesn't hit, because there's currently a Tropical Storm Sarah right now.
Stay away.
What? I know. I literally joked with Justin about that. I was like, stay away. I want to see Wicked.
Yeah.
And Cassie and I do have a fun announcement that we haven't said on this podcast. And you guys have to figure it out. You guys have to listen and watch it to figure it out. I think we mean the class of 2024 announcement is what I was talking about. So that's going to be fun.
Yep, you have to watch that episode to find out
what we're talking about. As Cassie mentioned, we did talk about The Wiz recently. And so what we're kind of doing, and I'll kind of mention this here, is we're doing a movie once a month. So we did, once a month, but we skipped September.
Yeah, we skipped September.
I think.
We had a lot going on in September, so we just skipped.
Yeah, so Wizard of Oz we did in August. That's what I was talking about. And we posted these on the anniversaries is the main point that we have to mention. So we mentioned Packers and Wizard of Oz. That's what I kind of mentioned. 39 with Don Hudson. And then October we did The Wiz, which was fun. And then we're doing December and Wicked. We're only taking off for November because it's the holiday. We're almost at the middle of the month. And Wicked doesn't come out till like the end of the month. So we want you guys to like enjoy it. And then we're going to be kind of doing 2 episodes in December is what we kind of decided. So we're doing Wicked and then the Grinch Jim Carrey version. So that's going to be fun for you guys to watch. And figure out our personalities more. Because if you guys watch Midnight Dis Nerd, you go see a different personality than me personally on Mac and Midnight Dis Nerd. Because we get in our creative more side of it, I feel like. With our notes. And you all as well. So see Cassie here.
This is our sporty side.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, speaking of that, did you hear One Short Day yet of Wicked?
I didn't. I see that you sent me it, so I'll have to watch it after this.
Yeah, you don't have anything to promote, do you?
Have anything what?
Promote?
I don't think so. Just Midnight Dis Nerds.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Mac now. You can officially say that.
And Mac, yeah.
Well, yeah. So you can find me Life of Mary podcast. Let's see if I remember them all now. Life of Mary podcast, Midnight Dis Nerd, Mac and Cheese, obviously, and Midwestern Chaos. Speaking of Midwestern Chaos, Peter and I are not doing an episode this week, even though he's a Bears fan and I'm a Packers fan. We're not doing that episode. And we'll have an episode next week, right? We really didn't discuss this. Oops.
Yeah, I think we should We probably won't have it, I assume, the week of Thanksgiving, but next week we can do an episode, yeah.
Yeah, because that would
Even
be...
though somebody's going to be missing the 49ers game.
Okay, but we can recap the Bears game is what I was talking about.
Yeah, we can do that.
Wow. Fine. I mean, I had to. I mean, I didn't have to. But also, if you guys, because this will be up on Saturday, please watch our anniversary shows. It's going to be so much fun. Unfortunately, this show will not be part of part 2. We're going to start this one with part 3, actually. And it's going to be so much fun. But please watch on Saturday night. It's going to be part 2, and please watch part 1 as well. Do you have any final thoughts, co-host?
Go Pack Go.
Yeah, we'll see everyone next week.
Yep.
Not sure if it's going to be live or pre-recorded, though.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
We'll let you know later.
Yes. And please follow us at Mackin Podcast 2023. Actually, if you guys send us a DM, probably Cassie will accept it because she's been accepting all of them. And it's been fun to experience working with her. I can truly appreciate that. Also, one quick note, our new intro was made by me. I made this one for once. And the music is written by Daniel Clintworth, who did Tom Grassi's music. So that's all I can another shout out, basically. Is there any other people that we need to shout out? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
Intro, Mary.